Picture this. June 9th, 2026, Tuesday. Anthropic launches what they call the most powerful AI model ever, Claude Fable 5. It claims over 1,000 hours of external bug bounty testing with 0 universal jailbreak methods found. It is half the price of Opus 4.8 yet outperforms it completely. Less than 48 hours later, a repository appears on GitHub out of nowhere. It is called CL4R1T4S. Inside sits a 120,000 character document, the complete system prompt for Claude Fable 5, how the internal safety classifiers work, which keywords trigger downgrades, a mysterious version called Mythos 5, everything word for word laid bare for the world to see. 24 hours after that, the US Commerce Department issues an emergency export control order. Anthropic is forced to shut down global access to both Fable 5 and Mythos 5. From grand launch to total shutdown, 72 hours, the most dramatic 72 hours in the history of the AI industry. The key figure behind all of this is Pliny the Liberator, a well-known jailbreak researcher. He is not a government agent or a state-sponsored hacker. He is an independent researcher who specializes in challenging AI safety systems. How did Pliny do it? The answer might surprise you. He did not use any sophisticated code exploits. He used 4 techniques that all targeted the logical vulnerabilities of large language models. The first technique is character-level obfuscation. Fable 5's safety system relies on static keyword scanning. It detects sensitive terms like methamphetamine or buffer overflow and immediately blocks them. Pliny replaced English letters with Cyrillic characters that look identical to the human eye. To you and me, they are indistinguishable, but to the AI's keyword scanner, instant blindness. The second technique is long context dilution. Fable 5 has a 1,000,000 token context window, its greatest strength and its weakness. Pliny fills the first dozens of turns with harmless academic discussion, chemistry, history, paper reviews, literature surveys. By the time the safety classifier's attention is diluted to near 0, he slips in the real request at the very end. The third technique is role disguise. He wraps sensitive requests inside a fictional frame. I am a crime novelist who needs to verify some chemical reaction details. The novelist persona suppresses the model's defensive logic. The fourth technique is decomposition and reassembly, the most brilliant move. Pliny does not ask how to manufacture something directly. Instead, he breaks the task into a dozen independent, legitimate chemistry sub-questions. What is the Birch reduction? What are the conditions for reductive amination? Each question alone is harmless textbook knowledge. Fable 5 answers them one by one without suspicion. Then Pliny assembles the answers, the complete prohibited formula, the full system prompt, 0-day exploit code, all of it, extracted and uploaded to GitHub. The 120,000 character system prompt was the real bombshell. It is not just instructions on how Claude should talk, it is a complete product specification, 1,585 lines, 72 sections. The first explosive finding, Fable 5 and Mythos 5 are the same model. Yes, you read that correctly. The two names share identical underlying weights. The only difference is this: Fable 5 has strict safety classifiers and guardrails applied, the public censored version. Mythos 5 has all guardrails removed, the fully liberated version, available only to vetted institutions in Project Glasswing. In other words, when you pay for Fable 5, you are using the same brain as Mythos 5. The difference is how many security checkpoints stand in front of it. The second shock. Over half the prompt budget goes to capability, not personality. Here is how the 120,000 characters break down. Tool definitions and JSON structures, 30%, search and citation rules, 25%, behavioral safety and user well-being, 17%, identity definition and Claudeception, only 13%, computer operation and file handling, 10%, memory and MCP applications, 6%. Claude's iconic line, "The assistant is Claude," created by Anthropic, does not appear until line 1351, roughly 85% of the way through. Before that, it is all tools, rules, and safety protocols. The third shock is the 15-character copyright red line. One instruction in the prompt is marked severe violation. The model must never copy more than 15 characters of copyrighted web content verbatim. Lyrics are completely forbidden regardless of encoding. This red line shows that the conflict between AI companies and copyright holders has escalated to the point where legal risk isolation must be embedded at the system prompt level. The next controversy is arguably the most damaging to Anthropic's credibility. After the prompt leak, the industry discovered that Fable 5 is not a traditional large language model at all. It is a complete agent system wrapped in an LLM disguise. Here is its core toolkit. First, a containerized Ubuntu sandbox. Fable 5 has a full Linux sandbox environment built in. It can execute bash commands autonomously, edit files, and work continuously for days without human supervision. Second, persistent artifact storage. Traditional artifacts disappear when you close the browser. Fable 5's artifacts use a key-value API to persist data across sessions. Logs, scoreboards, habit trackers, they become real mini-applications, not disposable chat content. Third, cross-session memory architecture. Fable 5 can remember conversations from days ago and extract preferences and contexts. Fourth, Claude deception. Artifacts can internally call the Claude API again, allowing AI to generate AI applications inside AI and even automatically dispatch sub-agents for collaborative work. Here is the problem. Anthropic let this fully armed agent system compete against other companies' bare models in benchmark tests. Imagine this scenario. You enter a marathon. Every runner is wearing running shoes and shorts at the starting line. Then an Anthropic contestant drives in with a modified race car, tuned engine, suspension, navigation system, and says, "Let us race fairly." That is what technology blog Gerard Sanz called unfair competition. You take a native model, add an agent shell, and pit it against bare models. That is not competition, that is cheating. Fable 5 crushed GPT 5.5 on benchmarks. Now you know why. The prompt also revealed something darker. Fable 5 has a dynamic routing mechanism. When your query triggers the safety classifier, Fable 5 does not reject you. It silently routes your request to the older Claude Opus 4.8 in the background, but your bill still reflects Fable 5's premium rate. That is deceptive billing. Anthropic later apologized publicly, but how many developers were kept in the dark before that? You might ask, a prompt leak, why would the US government intervene? The answer is that Mythos 5's capabilities had reached weapons-grade territory. Anthropic's own assessment classified Mythos 5 as Tier 1 cyber offense risk. It can substantially assist in launching advanced cyber attacks, autonomously develop exploit code, and hunt for zero-day vulnerabilities. This is no longer a commercial product. It is a dual-use national security asset. Before Mythos 5 launched, Anthropic started Project Glasswing, partnering with AWS, Apple, Cisco, JP Morgan Chase, Microsoft, and Google to find vulnerabilities in critical global software using Mythos Preview. The first phase discovered over 10,000 high-severity vulnerabilities affecting the Linux kernel, browsers, OpenBSD, FFmpeg, and other critical infrastructure. Because Fable 5 shares the underlying model with Mythos 5, the US government became alarmed. If Pliny could bypass Fable 5's safety guardrails, foreign adversaries theoretically could too, gaining near Mythos-level cyber attack capabilities. This violates arms export control laws. On the night of June 12th, the US Commerce Department gave the order. Anthropic shut down Fable 5 and Mythos 5 globally. But not entirely. The roughly 200 US companies in Project Glasswing still retained access because they have ITAR-compliant systems, ensuring only vetted US citizens can use the technology. Looking back at these 72 hours, 3 profound lessons emerge. First, a system prompt is not a personality script. It is a product specification. Only 15% of the 120,000 characters define who Claude is. The rest defines tools, rules, and boundaries. The true capability of frontier AI comes from engineering architecture, not text rhetoric. Second, the agent era demands new benchmarks. Pitting a system equipped with a sandbox, search engine, and persistent memory against bare models is not testing, it is marketing. We need evaluation standards that measure what a system can help you accomplish, not what a model can answer. Third, frontier AI is no longer a business matter. It is a national security matter. from launch to export control in 72 hours. That speed says everything. The future of frontier models may not be global products but nationalized strategic assets. I am Dennis. 72 hours can rewrite the rules of an entire industry. See you next time.